In case you have missed it, I have made book versus movie videos for The Kissing Booth 1 and 2, so naturally now I have to make one for The Kissing Booth 3, One Last Time by Beth Reekles, now streaming on Netflix. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week and movie reviews here at the weekend. They are always spoiler free, and as always with any book versus movie video I make, I completely recognise that when an author signs over the rights to their books, the film company has every right to do what they want with it, change the characters, change the setting. I just love looking at the similarities and differences and bringing them to you here. Book versus movie videos are probably some of my favourites to make, and I will leave my playlist linked up above. I will also put together a playlist for you of my Kissing Booth videos, because I have made several videos talking about The Kissing Booth 1, 2 and 3. I have not talked about The Beach House or Road Trip, which were novellas that sort of slot into the series. I haven't talked about those on this channel, but I do have those as well. The Kissing Booth, of course, was the Wattpad sensation by young writer Beth Reekles. I was lucky enough to be on the blogger list for Penguin Random House when they acquired it, when they were just Random House Children's, and I did get to read an early copy, not a Wattpad early copy, I'm not that early to the game, but then when I found out it was going to be a movie, I was fully invested, and having started the journey, I felt it appropriate to read number 3 and watch number 3 and bring you my similarities and differences here. So yeah, I will put together a playlist with all of those in case you have missed my 1 or 2 book versus movie. You can go away and watch those and then come back and join us here as we talk about The Kissing Booth One Last Time. This one has a really informative author's note at the beginning because it talks about the differences a little bit between the book and the movie. So it says that the book was a really interesting challenge. Write a book based on the movie, based on the book based on the movie, based on the movies, based on my books, which is like really hard to get your head round. So when I talked about The Kissing Booth 2, book versus movie, I said that the book of The Kissing Booth 2 is like a sequel to the book of The Kissing Booth 1, and the movie of The Kissing Booth 2 is like a sequel to the movie of The Kissing Booth 1. And I would say that the same stands here. However, Kissing Booth number 1, book versus movie, the book and the movie were more similar than The Kissing Booth 2. I felt like the book and the movie were very different from each other, and I feel like we've kind of come back together slightly for The Kissing Booth 3. I would say that the book and the movie are more similar than The Kissing Booth 2, but I think that's probably because this one was written after both of those movies had come out, as far as I'm aware, if that makes sense. I feel like we diverged from each other and we've come back together again. So much so that a lot of the script and a lot of the action we can see word for word playing out the same in the pages of the book as in the movie. The major difference at the beginning, again, no spoilers here, was that at the beginning of the movie, we have a little road trip to San Francisco that takes place that we do not have so much in the book. And that was quite a treat because we got to see lots of artistic sort of scenes of San Francisco. Not that I'm a massive fan of San Francisco as a city, but it is very photogenic and very different from any other city. And so that was nice to have in the sort of opening. In case you had forgotten what happened in Kissing Booth 2 and didn't immediately read the book or watch the movie before watching or reading Kissing Booth 3, you do have a little recap in both of them so you can be caught up to speed. And if you don't want or haven't watched or read the others, then I definitely think that you could pick this one up and still enjoy it as a standalone. However, there are a lot of callbacks in both to books and movies 1 and 2. The music choices in the movie, I feel like, really bring it to life, and I really enjoyed the music choices that were made. I enjoyed reading the book. I listened to the majority of it on audio and then read the start and the ending, sort of reread them for making this video here for you today. But I think that the music choices in the film just add another level to the story and even kind of add another level to the characters. And I think that overall the movie is able to be more dramatic and kind of needs to be more dramatic than the book. I found myself one particular scene towards the end crying at the movie, whereas in that scene in the book I didn't cry, and I think that's because the cinematography, the editing and the score helped to make it just that little bit more impactful on the screen as opposed to on the page. And that's just my personal opinion, but I think that might help, you know, when you're thinking about your choices of book versus movie. That's one of the big differences that I found. Okay, so let's pop this down and talk about some more ways that the book and the movie are different. So I've already said a lot of the stuff, a lot of the script stuff and a lot of the like actual action that takes place is very, very similar, almost word for word as on the page. However, if you haven't seen or read The Kissing Booth 2, you won't know that two new characters are introduced in both the book and the movie. In the book we have Levi and we have Amanda. However, in the movie we have Marco and we have Chloe, and these people are distractions for Elle and for Noah, main characters respectively. And the differences in book and movie 3, I would say there are more differences with the Marco Levi character and less differences with the Amanda Chloe character. So I'd say that Amanda's story in the book completely reflects the same as Chloe's story in the film. You know, she's having issues with her family, issues with her parents. She's sort of in and out of their lives the same amount. However, in the book, we get to see Elle and Levi's friendship kind of getting back to where it was in The Kissing Booth 2. Whereas I would say that Marco features less in the film than Levi does in the book, which is difficult to compare because they are completely different characters. In the movie, Marco works in a water park, and in the book, Levi works in the 7-Eleven, and they make different choices as to what they're going to do with themselves after graduation. But those choices are both impactful on the ending of the story for our main characters. And so I would say that these sort of side characters are more similar in this film to the book than they were in book 2. However, I mentioned in my book versus movie for The Kissing Booth 2 that I feel like we get to know Rachel, Lee's girlfriend, more as a character in the movie than we do in the book. She feels a little bit more like a side character in the book, whereas she feels a bit more like part of the main group in the movie. I think it's kind of like reverted back the other way in part 3, where we get to see less of Rachel in this film. She's there on the screen, she's with the gang, but she doesn't really necessarily have an impact on the story, and we don't hear an awful lot about her college plans. However, in the book, I feel like her college plans have an impact on Lee and Elle's college plans more. And again, no spoilers as to what they are, but in terms of the impact that she has, I feel like it's more in the book this time than it is in the movie. So I feel like this is a book versus movie, and it's a Kissing Booth 3 versus Kissing Booth 2 all at the same time. I'm sorry there's so many levels to this one. But like I say, I love looking at the similarities and differences. I'm having trouble here. Siri really is interrupting my videos today. I would say that, in my opinion, the ending, as I've already mentioned, there was a scene towards the end where I cried in the film but not in the book. I would say the ending as a whole feels more dramatic but also more impactful, and I feel like we get more closure in the film than we do in the book. However, I think that is because in the film we are able to see other characters who aren't involved with Elle have conversations and do things outside of Elle's world, or even within Elle's world, because in the book it's sort of narrated by her, and so we only really get to see things as an impact of what she has said and done and actions she has taken, whereas for example in the film we can see a conversation happening completely separately with Lee and Noah, or with the boys and their mom, whereas in the book we don't get to see that happen. And so I kind of like that opening up of the world a little bit more, and I think it's more helpful to the ending, because obviously we know that this is the last in the series. It's called One Last Time. We want that closure, and so to be able to see those characters outside of Elle, I think is really helpful and really useful. But speaking of endings, again, no spoilers, reiterating that both the book and the film have an epilogue, and I was really pleased that the film included the epilogue as much as the book included the epilogue. I love, love, love an epilogue. This book has both an author's note and an epilogue. One of my favourite things is an author's note or an epilogue. If it has both, oh my goodness, amazing, tip top. But I love the fact that we got the epilogue in the film as well as getting the epilogue in the book. And the epilogue in the film made me super happy as well, because we got to see Joey King with her real hair as opposed to Joey King in her Elle wig, because I just don't think that the wig department did a great job with her hair in film 2 or film 3. I think that it was very obvious when her hair was down. I said this in the Kissing Booth 2 book versus movie. Really obvious when her hair was down that it was a wig. Oh, seriously, Siri. Really, really obvious that it was a wig, and so I like the fact that we got to see her natural hair at the end of the film. Again, no spoilers. You just get to see her natural hair. I'm not telling you why or how or where or who. But yes, so do I prefer the book? Do I prefer the film? The film has got really slammed. It's got really bad reviews, and I really don't see why. I would say that the film is a sequel to The Kissing Booth 1 and 2, and it feels like a sequel to The Kissing Booth 1 and 2. It is about 15 minutes shorter than The Kissing Booth 2, and therefore it rates higher for me. Both of them still feel overly long. I would say that they should be 90-minute films maximum, and they're just slightly too long. But then the book is over 400 pages, and so maybe that reflects the length of the book as well. I would probably stick with the book just because I enjoyed reading The Kissing Booth 1. I've read The Kissing Booth 1 and The Kissing Booth 2 twice now. I wouldn't necessarily reread The Kissing Booth 3 because I just basically read it and finished reading it and then immediately pressed play on the movie, because as you know, they both came out on the same day, which was during my particularly bad reading month. So I'm glad I kind of waited and paused and read and watched them both in September. But yeah, I definitely preferred the book to the movie. However, I would say if you're looking for something to kind of take you away with a bit of escapism and just kind of chill out with some fun characters and have a good time with a good score and a nice setting, then the movie is the one for you. But yes, I hope you have enjoyed my comparisons, and as I say, I will put together that playlist of all my Kissing Booth videos and I will leave it in the end screen for you. Let me know in comments, have you watched any of the Kissing Booth books or films? Have you read the short stories in between, the novellas? What did you think of them? I will be back with another movie review for you at the weekend. I will be back with more bookish content in the week, so make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on those. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, but tell me why. And yes, thank you so much for watching. I will see you with my next video.